Flat Earth Debate live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by, I can find my Hangout page. Where is it? There it is. Neil, Click OK, Adam, and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server. So, welcome one and all.
How are you?
Hello, everyone.
Hello. How's it all going?
Well,
Happy Friday.
it's going good.
Jolly good. So, we've been covering somebody in the pre-show, and as much as we've been criticising the individual, as much as we've been criticising that particular individual, we might as well give him a proper shout out. So this particular guy's called Mikey S. Just Mikey S. Okay, Mikey Smith. There we go. And yeah, we've been covering a bit of his star videos. We disagree with him when he makes an assertion that there's a firmament based on just looking at the stars, which he's got very good in terms of his pictures. They're excellent. So check him out. As I say, we've been covering it in the pre-show, and I'll put a link to his video, which is called Firmament Confirmed, Globe Believers, You Are Done. There's a link going by to his video in the YouTube live stream chat. Oh, how do I bring that up? Just one sec. No, not that button. That button. Yeah, there we go. So yes, you can see that winging its way by in the live stream chat now. So yes, do go and let Mikey know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that just alludes to exactly that, the fact that we've been covering his video on today's pre-show. He's a flatty, and he's only got a couple of thousand subscribers, so it'd be nice to help him along in the YouTube algorithmic love that we definitely don't receive here on Flat Earth Debate, and I mean, no doubt he won't receive either. So regardless of our disagreements in regards to his suggestion that he has proof of a firmament, I do like his images. Well worth checking him out. So that's Mikey Smith. Horizontally something or other. That's the channel name. So check him out.
Also, leave a polite comment and let them know. Eat first, then do your video.
Yes, I had enough moans at this particular videographer, and people who make YouTube videos, it's supposed to be just that, right? It's supposed to be low-key, amateur. That's what YouTube represented 10 years ago. So someone starting a recording, immediately walking away, and then coming back and having dinner. That's, you know, to be expected. You know, it's very, very amateur, which YouTube is supposed to be. Go ahead, whoever that is. Their mic open, causing a horrendous squealing noise. Come on, someone's opened their mic. Shit, third time, whoever that is doing that.
Yeah, because we're professionals here.
Yeah, he says with somebody on his panel who he doesn't know, figuring out who's causing a high-pitched squealing noise right at the beginning of the live show. With whoever's mic's wide open. There it is again. Who was that? The second I look away, it's happening. Somebody's got their mic open and you're causing chaos. It's really irritating. Membership's coming. Share the show, says Jardo. Thank you, Jardo, for the super chat. Really appreciate the support. If it is you causing the high-pitched squealing, I'll take it all back. As you're the only one with your mic open. It's probably Jardo, isn't it? I like the fact that Jardo sorts people out with memberships. It means they can reference what we were just literally talking about, and having watched it in the pre-show, you get to watch that after the fact. That CC guy who's like number one flat Earth debate super fan, whatever you want to call that metric with the crown.
Christian Zekas.
Christian Zekas. He's the guy that gets all the reactions from Simon Dan, right?
I'm not sure, but it might be because I think I heard him say yes when you asked the last time.
Let's have a chat with him about why that is the case. Because it's not like it's a one-time thing. Dan has covered that guy, Christian, the guy in the chat now, multiple times, right? And he always picks on something that's completely benign. Now, given the amount of interaction he has here, I can only assume that some of his videos are going to have decent information in. Just weird, don't you think? Maybe it's just Dan being a bully and he's picked somebody to pick on and that's him. That's the person he's picked.
There you go. But he's not no low-hanging fruit. Christian Zekas will give him a run for his money.
No, that's not the way it makes. That's not the way Simon Dan makes it appear when, as I say, he covers something completely benign. He'll like put up a video of him drinking a cup of tea, quite literally. Shout out to Jardo, who's just gifted 20 memberships. I've been going live for more than 5 minutes, and we've got 20 gifts to the people who are watching. So if you join the show early, big shout out to Jardo for gifting you a membership. Check out all those new members whizzing on by. Should I do individual shout outs to them? Who we got as new members? Right. Oh, we got Musicians for Truth. Musicians for Truth could do with a shout out. Musicians for Truth has been doing a series. I don't know how long he's been doing it, but I reckon it's relatively new, like within the last 6 months, where he's unabashedly covering conspiracy theory. Now, don't get me wrong, when this stuff gets tied to flat Earth, I've got an objection. He's not doing that, right? This is Jason in the chat. He goes under the name Musicians for Truth. And I think that's the name of his channel that he's actually publishing his videos that I'm talking about. I'm really sorry to not know the name of the series that you're putting out. Maybe you can type it in the chat for me so I can tell you the name of the series that I'm talking about. 2 months. Thank you, says Musicians for Truth. What's the name of the series so I can plug it? Can someone dig out the Musicians for Truth link to his most recent conspiracy series? Because when it's done in the way that he's doing it, Jason's doing it, right? I like it when it's done in that way. It's very tongue-in-cheek, right? So the intro is like, let's rock and roll that rabbit hole. I absolutely love it, right? Because it's not making any bones about what it is, yeah? It's a bit of fun. Now, don't get me wrong, he does touch on some more serious subjects, but for the most part, it's exactly as it sounds when he says, let's rock and roll that rabbit hole. But I've been watching it. I'm not even going to call it a guilty pleasure. There is no name, he says. Oh man, I just want to dig out a link to it. Let's have a look. Let's go to your channel. He's got, it's kind of videos from the web is what he's just been calling it. Right, let's bring this up so you can see what we're talking about. I'm going to cover this. Why not? It's my show. I'll do it on. Okay, let's show this to the audience. So this is the Musicians for Truth channel, and I want you all to go and subscribe right now. I'm going to give this video a like. I haven't even watched it yet. It's the kind of guy I am. Go on, whoever that is. You, Jardo, causing whistling noises. Go ahead, Jardo. Or if not, can you mute because you're hot micing in Discord? Is he hearing me? Or does he run away? He's gifting memberships and then running away. Okay, so there. Anyway, this is Musicians for Truth. Let's take out his link and put it in the chat.
Sorry.
So, that's okay, no worries. I've got too many things on one page all at once. Where's my live stream chat gone? There we go. I'm putting a link to this particular video, whichever one it may be, and I want you to all go and subscribe right now to Musicians for Truth. That's the channel that we're going to be looking at right now. But you're going to get a flavour of this right now, so you can see what I'm talking about.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Let's get into it.
There you go. Subliminal messages in the national anthem. What an opener.
Our national anthem.
Oh, I've seen this before. When I was, this is immediately bringing back really fond memories. So this is actually my gateway into the subject of flat Earth. I can only assume that the reason Math Powerland was automatically played to me, algorithmically speaking, on an autoplay, like the next video is Math Powerland while I was doing something else, quite late at night, maybe 1 or 2 in the morning, middle of the night. Suddenly I'm hearing Math Powerland talking about how Earth's flat without ridiculing it. Very weird thing to be hearing, to the point where I went and woke my wife up and told her, Earth's flat. Yeah, that's my entry into this subject. Why was I presented with Math Powerland? Because of this. I was looking at subliminal messages. So this video that you're about to see is actually familiar to me. So while I was looking at psychopathy, that's narcissism, and subliminal messaging, the next thing that YouTube's like, oh, right, you're interested in that crazy old nonsense. Maybe flat Earth will be of interest to you. Have a bit of Math Powerland. So I can see how they, from the get-go, wanted conspiratards. And as much as I don't want to admit I am one, Brian's a bit like this, right? He doesn't want to admit it either. But we both know deep down what we are, right? We know how we got here. So it's kind of cruel to suggest that the people around us for being conspiracy dudes, like I have a propensity to take it out on Dave Weiss at the moment, and Dave Weiss has come from the same conspiracy background in that regard as I have. So it's all well and good me getting here and moaning at Jesse Spots for talking about clone centres. It's like, how did you get here again? Through subliminal messages and psychopathy. It's like, yeah, they want conspiratards here, don't they? They want us to be talking about ice walls and domes. So is it any surprise that the kind of people who are here? Was I on mute when I was saying all that? I was saying, how fickle are we? Right? Shout out to Jardo, who says, shout out to Dearth, member number 9. Yeah, 2 or 3 days ago, we were ripping him a new one, and now he's a member. Very amusing. It's amazing how free memberships flush out who's actually watching.
Why am I not hearing anything?
Are you not getting anything in the G+? It might just hear it as noise because it's probably filtering it out as noise through the G+ panel. It doesn't matter. It's just showing you the subliminal text interleaved, if you want to call it that, in the I think it's progressive scan technology, where you get one layer of lines and then the next layer of lines from the TV broadcast. I think it's called progressive scan, and they're interleaving words in one frame of the progressive scan. And it's just being highlighted. So there's nothing to hear. It's very much a visual thing. Easy to catch now, right? With pause buttons and high resolution video that has no rolling tape head. But you can imagine when this was being broadcast twice daily, especially as it's going, like I say, out at 2 in the morning or 4 a.m. for the start of the broadcast day. No one's really paying that close attention. And even if you did record it, if by the time VCRs were in use, what are you going to do? See it on a scrolling playhead from a tape? I'm thinking not. But now, like this, yeah, you can pause it. You can see what they were doing, what they were telling you. And it makes, what's his name? Is it John Carpenter? They Live, right? This is what They Live is alluding to, right? You know, it's just much more obvious when the example is you put on the glasses and you can see that the billboard's got a completely different message. Like, well, that's a novel way of showing you this. Trust the US government. Clever, quite clever. Rebellion is not tolerated. Here it is. Obey, consume. Straight out of John Carpenter's They Live. Is anybody familiar with this sort of stuff? Has anybody seen these sorts of subliminal messages exposed prior to now? If this is your first time watching, just let us know from the comment section. Obviously, my point in doing this isn't necessarily to go through these subliminals. It's more to plug Musicians for Truth channel. So, as is always the case, drop Jason a line, leave him a message, subscribe to his channel, and let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And it looks like he's sort of collating this stuff. But it's not just subliminals, obviously. There's a far more broad approach that's being taken here. And for fun, just for like guilty pleasure, if you want to call it that, this is great, right? I really like what you're doing, Jason. Good stuff.
Yeah, we've seen this before. But I would point out in Master B last week, I sent one when we was discussing U2 and why people didn't like them. There was something to do with the video wall that they put in their big drone that they did a recent concert on last year.
As in the Irish band U2?
Correct. Yeah, we were discussing why people didn't seem to like Bono. So I posted up a video about subliminal messages from U2.
Okay. Where's that? In Master B?
Yeah, it was about a week or so ago at least.
Okay. Yes, can you stick it in again?
I'll see if I can find it.
Marvellous. I love this stuff. Like I say, this is what I was into before Flat Earth. Not directly before, it was psychopathy directly before, but, you know, from memory, it was 2006 or 7, maybe around that sort of time. Anyway, I'll do another plug for someone else. Reality in Truth, all one word, is a YouTube channel that's still available for the material that was being put out 10 years ago, or stopped being put out 10 years ago-ish. And that's run by a guy called Nathan Bell, or was, when it was actively putting out material. It isn't anymore. But you can, if you are interested in this particular rabbit hole that's being rock and rolled by Musicians for Truth, then you can check out Nathan Bell's YouTube channel, which is called Reality in Truth. And he exposes things that I don't know if did this make it into the book? I can't remember. There's so much stuff that we put into the book recently. Could have swore I'm sure I went and got a part of a handbook from Nathan's channel recently for the book, right? I just can't remember if I'm so vague on this. I'm a bit wishy-washy at the minute mentally. Yes, just full stop. But there might be something in the book about this. I can't remember. Neil, you're my man in this regard. Can you remember me putting something in the book about subliminal messages? I'm sure I have. I remember going and getting something, a citation specifically about the handbook, and it had something about Kent cigarettes. Do you remember? Or am I just dreaming this? Am I making this completely made up? Am I just making this up? I don't know. Who cares? Let's carry on watching.
If television has been slipping in messages subliminally since the 70s, where do you think they're at now? With the technology the way it is, they could slip in messages and you'd never see them.
Nah, I think it's advanced way beyond subliminal messages. The need for it isn't really there anymore. So that's such a crude tool by comparison. I mean, they're studying us in terms of what we want by what we look at and what we listen to, and that can easily be influenced with the advertising algorithms that are put in front of us. And it's much more effective to directly tell you something rather than subliminally advertising that message to you, or trying to get you to buy a product through fear-induced subliminal messaging. Yeah, that crude tactic definitely worked and was abused in the 70s and 80s especially, but I think beyond that, through the 90s, they've figured out that if they just know what you want and they just give it to you, that's much easier to get you to do what they want, right? You just have to get the two things, the thing they want and the thing you want to converge, and they can subtly drip you that information if they know the kind of things you like to keep you looking at the things you want anybody else to be looking at. So I think in modern times, subliminal messaging, I'm sure it is still used to a certain degree, but just it's not as effective as a tool as you might think in modern times.
TV frame rates now move faster than the eye can perceive. Be careful of the content you consume.
Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about the trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Without a hint of irony. Very good. Okay, I think that's enough. So yeah, go and check out Musicians for Truth channel. Hopefully a few of you from the live stream have gone and subscribed like immediately, but I'm not saying it for my health. To actually go and pop along and drop him a sub and leave a comment, let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that doesn't immediately get you removed. If you're one of my ball-believing watchers, you know, be nice. Yes, the same applies both ways when we're plugging what we perceive to be friendlies. There's plenty of audience members who might not necessarily like what Musicians for Truth is doing over there when he rock and rolls those rabbit holes. Good stuff. Okay, cool. Where's the hangout? Ah, there it is. Well, I might cover some other stuff today. As you can probably tell, it's quite a laid-back show. It's been this way all week. Anything else anybody wants to cover specifically? I did say that we would go to the chat at some point. I should maybe do that now. See what people are saying from there. Shout out to all of the new members that Jardo's introduced. Thank you very much again to Jardo. Somebody telling me I was on mute from earlier. Yeah, my bad. I think I reiterated it after the fact. Anything pressing from the chat? It doesn't look like that's the case. Craig put it up, YouTube stuff. Okay, we'll go to that then if there's nothing from the YouTube chat. If anybody does want to ask anything from the YouTube chat, feel free. I'm going to try and be a bit more interactive with the YouTube chat, the live stream chat, that is. Okay, so let's go to Craig's video. Am I on the right video? The one from Odyssey, yeah?
Yeah, should be. Sorry, I can't see that. So.
That's all right. I'm going to share it in the Hangout now. You should be seeing it.
I didn't know bands were actually going to show up here and perform, which makes it even more frightening with the frequencies they're using on people. But I want to talk about jump cuts because I actually took the time. I was like, you know what? Let me just see what happened because they just opened this thing up. What's going on inside, right? So I saw some videos about the frequencies they're using in the lobby and things like that. And somebody had actually uploaded a video of the concert from U2. And you have to see this if you want to understand how mind control works, and a thing called jump cuts. Now, it's important to remember that these people are manufacturing you. Okay, you're a product to them that they're manufacturing. Here is a clip if you don't know what jump cuts are, so I could show you how they were using words on the screen at such a fast pace that you would never be able to read what they were actually saying to you.
Oh, wow. So they're dropping subliminals into the video wall like in the Star Spangled Banner video that we just watched, but at U2 concerts. Wow, okay.
During this U2 concert and the mind control they were putting on the audience. But I slow it down so that you could see. But let's start here. For those of you that don't know how jump cuts work, they subliminally put things in movies. They've been doing it since the advent of the television. They do it in music videos. It's something that you cannot catch with your own eye. It is the same type of method that is used in, mind control experiments that we hear about. And people are like, oh, they would never do that to us. No, they do it to us. They put stuff in there, whether it's to make you hungry, whether it's something in there to activate a Manchurian candidate. These are all things that they do. So here's just a basic clip of.
Yeah, that's what you want it to be now, just for humorous effect. You want it to be, the visuals are all sort of all-seeing eye and pyramids in the real visuals, like that are going by for the concert. And then in the subliminal, it says, buy a burger, get a Pepsi. That's what we want. It won't be, but.
Of you being manufactured, and a clip from a TV show.
Your living room is the factory. The product being manufactured is you.
Okay, so right, because people see things like, oh, words are flashing on the screen. That doesn't mean that they're saying anything to you. It does mean something. Because on a subconscious level, your brain is able to process this. You might not realize it at the time, but they're putting thoughts into your mind. They're spell casting on you while you're watching this. And it's so surreal. The clips.
Is he suggesting that these words are the subliminals? Because I would disagree strongly. Unless he's going to show something interweaved between these words.
That they're showing. So after seeing that clip, let me just show you a really, this is a clip. This is in real time from the actual concert where there's words flashing on the screen while they're performing. Now, obviously, I've watched this over and over so I could see these words now, but this is the actual in real time. It's not sped up. It's not slowed down. This is what the audience is seeing there. And you know that they're not actually reading any of this stuff with all the frequencies flying around at their heads. They're just being put under hypnosis. Look at this.
Okay, I mean, let's have a look. Let's see what he's saying then.
Okay, so some things may have stuck out to you when you watched it. I doubt it the first time you see it, but the more you watch it, I'm going to break it down in slow-mo so you can see it. But one of the things that was in there, if you didn't notice, was 666. Okay, so 666 flashed up on the screen many times. Not just one time. It's not a coincidence. Look, 666 in green, 666, right? It's
the song that it's being played to is The Fly. So this is a very late 80s or early 90s song from the album Achtung Baby. And it's the first song on the album, The Fly. Good song.
There's 6 on the screen, and then on all the small screens below, 666 on the 3 screens next to each other, 666. If that's not enough for you, look what else flashed up. Oh,
so what? Okay. So what? Somebody fill me in.
Look, 666, the hand symbol, which I've exposed a million times. You see the celebrities do it. MAGA does it. Okay.
Okay. I'll accept that. There it is. It's in big giant letters, 666. We saw the 666 in green. Now it's 6 in letter format. Okay. So what? Somebody tell me the significance. Who cares?
You put your finger like the MAGA thing. That's
the devil.
They're
It's
leaning
the devil,
into that.
Nathan.
Aren't they just leaning into that?
Well, it was obviously there for a reason, right?
Yeah. Artistic flair.
Look, they even do it backwards. They do it so everybody can see it. Why else would they put this stuff in there?
Yeah, but you're not answering the question. You're questioning like it's an answer. Why else would they put it in there? You tell me. Okay, it's a 6. Backwards, you say? Okay, yeah, I can see that. And
these aren't the lyrics of the song that are on the screen, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I agree. It's The Fly. It's not got any 6s in it.
You want to sit there and be like, well, they probably just kept flashing the lyrics. These are not the lyrics of the song. You can go look at the lyrics of the song. I believe the song was called Fly on the Wall by U2. It's on that.
It's just called The Fly, but yeah.
Oh, excuse me, The Fly. It's called The Fly. Or Fly on the Wall is another name I guess people have for the song.
No, those are the lyrics. Like a fly on the wall is one of the lyrics.
I don't know, whatever. That's the song. These are not the lyrics of the song. So
no, that is the lyrics of the song. not a U2 fan, I can tell.
These are subliminal things they're planting in people's heads. It's like...
Why? No. Right. With the national anthem that you saw earlier, yeah? Obey, consume. God is real, God is watching. With a church behind. Yeah, you can understand the nefarious intent behind that message. This is a number 6. Okay? These are very different standards.
Like programming a human being without...
Sorry, no, not programming me. I'm not being told to obey. I'm not being told to consume. And I'm not being terrified by the impression from a subliminal slide that God is watching with a church being the picture in the background. That isn't what this is.
Them realizing it. They're getting hit with frequencies, then they're getting...
Hit with frequencies? Well, like guitar frequencies. Yeah, we are. We're a concert. That's right.
666, 666, 666. After that, what else do you see? Antichrist, free pizza, These are just a few. I have a whole breakdown coming after I show you the clips slowed down so you can see. Keep an eye on this. It's so...
Okay, so you got Antichrist. Yeah, okay, I suggested that they'd be leaning into the people who would call them anti-Christian. U2, that is. They've lent into it before. They did it on a tour in the late 90s, early 2000s, when they were literally dressing up as devils. And they had a giant lemon that they lowered in, from memory. So they do occasionally lean into the notion that people suggest that they're satanic. So having whatever it was that they just had up a minute ago, yeah, I can understand that. It would, to be perfectly honest, it wouldn't be my idea that it would be anything to do with the band per se, beyond the people they've employed. So I studied this stuff, lighting specifically, at college. Yeah? Technical theatre, it was called. Lighting and sound. So there's going to be a lighting engineer that's got to come up with this design. Yeah? This has all been programmed in by a guy who sat tediously creating this crap for it to look cool at a concert. But this is just some lighting engineers. It's the mind's eye. We're seeing the mind's eye of a lighting engineer. That's all this is. And what are we seeing? Are we being told to obey? Are we being told to go by Pepsi? Are we being told to obey the government that is U2? No, it's free pizza and 666. Yeah, U2 are acutely aware that they're accused of being devil worshippers when they're a band. And they do lean into that and have done previously, and this, to me, just meaningless. It's completely erroneous compared to the slides in the Star Spangled Banner video played out at the end of broadcasts in the States throughout the 20th century.
It's frightening. It'll remind a lot of people of the movie They Live, where you saw the signs.
Remind them? No, not at all. No, what we saw from our good friend Jason on Musicians for Truth channel wasn't just reminiscent of what was in They Live, it was the words specifically used in They Live. That's a good example of subliminal use in everyday society that you can recognise and may have even seen. The U2 concert, by comparison, is garbage. It's nothing like this at all.
Consume, obey.
No, those words weren't on the lighting, guys. They didn't put those words up.
Right.
They put up free pizza. Was there any free pizza? I mean, I'm kind of feeling hungry. Oh, dear.
Remember that in They Live? Very much like...
Yeah, like it also shown in the Star Spangled Banner video that we had a minute ago, right, with the national anthem from the States. Yeah, it actually said obey in it.
Like that. They're not doing this in homage to They Live. You saw how fast this was flashing in front of...
Yeah, go on.
I've only joined just because I saw the obscene thing, and there is a big difference between what's being put on the screen subliminally to trick the audience to make them think in a certain way. Fine, what you're saying in terms of the obey, but what's being put on there is nothing to do with the audience. It's a message to the other controlled elite in the sickest of terms. It's letting other paedophiles know that they're paedophiles, that they obey, they're part of the bigger club. That's what some of that messaging is about. It's nothing to do with you. It's just like knowing what that symbol means. Yeah? Free pizza. Dirty, dirty bastards.
I don't really know what that means. I don't really want you to tell me on my live show, but I suspect something highly nefarious. I am vaguely aware of things like Pizzagate from about 5 years ago. Is that what the connection is you're suggesting?
Yeah. I would suggest that's the only connection. It's talking to your fellow club members, isn't it? It's a language that it has no relevance to us normies, does it? Free pizza, Nathan. Lovely. Well, why would a U2 concert? No, free pizza. That's what they're saying. Yeah.
Mm. Maybe. Again, knowing...
No maybes about it, mate. No, not one maybe, not one if, but, or anything. Yeah? Exactly what that is.
But what if I was the lighting engineer? What if my career path took me to being a lighting engineer? It wouldn't ever. I'm colourblind. I'd have never made it in that career. But if I was, And I happened to drop that in because I just thought it was something cool to drop in semi-subliminally. In other words, this lighting engineer is leaning into the idea that it could be perceived as subliminal.
Okay, so if you are the lighting engineer, what does that mean? If you type in that phrase into your display, what do you mean it as an innocent lighting engineer when you're saying free pizza?
As now you put it like that, as the lighting engineer, I don't think I'd put it in because even with my ignorance of it, I've got a vague idea from Pizzagate from 5 years ago that it's probably something not good. Therefore, I probably wouldn't put it in. So I'm kind of defeating my own argument here, aren't I?
You don't put things like that in unless A, you're going to lose your job, or B, you're part of it. Yeah?
Yeah, fair enough.
You'd probably put in something like free butter or margarine.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I can easily imagine myself leaning into the subliminal thing. So I do it with the numbers on the show. I'll try and end the show on 666 or 333 or 222 because people are calling me a Freemason. So I just think, fuck. Well, I won't swear. I just think, yeah, I'll lean into that. No worries. I'll give you some 333s at the end of the show when you look at the numbers because it's meaningless. Yeah? But that, as you're suggesting, isn't the same as putting free pizza into a stream of visuals. I hesitate to even call them subliminal. Subliminal?
I've watched that bit, and it was like, wear a condom. Something to do with your mum. Your brain's actually very, very good, and if you relax, it's amazing how much you can read at that speed.
Yeah.
But there was subliminal stuff. The bit that stuck out there was wear a condom to me. Again, is that satanic? Well, yeah. Well, it's not. It's not following the teachings of God, is it? So, very odd messaging. Maybe it's just a bit of sexual health advice that they decided to put in the middle of their concert. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Again, like I say, it's peering into the mind of the lighting engineer, but if you're suggesting that there's more to it, I mean, I'm not going to disagree because I don't know it's not the case. And when you're talking mega bucks of creating these sorts of concerts for people like you two, there's a lot of thought that goes into them. There's a lot of planning that goes into them and discussion that goes into that planning. So I'm not going to pretend for 1 second that it is just one dude like I dumbed it down to be. So, I mean, I'm more than happy to change my mind. You've almost changed it already.
Nathan, if it's at a U2 concert, nothing that's up on that screen is random.
Nah, fair enough.
Nothing.
But
U2, Bono, I said this before, if anyone ever heard what he had to say concerning his father when his father passed away, like his first statement or whatever, it was really strange. It was
what did he say? It's kind of appropriate and poignant, given my dad's about to pass away.
No, what he said was, it was after his dad had passed, just after, like he made a public response or whatever to his father passing away. His father was well known. He spoke about his father in a way like someone who's a lower Mason speaking about a great higher Mason. That's the only way I could describe it. The only way I could say it wasn't like, oh, I miss my father. Or, like let's say if you have to do it, what you would say or what someone normal would say. It wasn't normal. It wasn't about a fella and his father as much. It was about someone and his mentor and kind of thing. It was bizarre. This is many years ago now.
Okay.
This is a thing that they do at a lot of rages, at a lot of concerts. They put mind control over the people there. So I'm going to play this for you in a slower speed. So what I did is I went through and I broke it down slower. Keep in mind some of this stuff. Okay, they talk about social media being the Antichrist. That could be hinting to the fact that the Antichrist might be some type of artificial intelligence, somebody who rises through social media. Wouldn't surprise any of us with the idol worship out there with social media people. Okay, then it goes into I love TV.
I've no idea why the
over
audio's suddenly
and
gone
over
quiet.
and over for over
I'll turn
a
it up,
minute.
but
I love TV, love TV, love TV, love TV, believe TV. Even having the balls to highlight the word lie, because all the things on the television, spell it out, T-E-L-I-E vision.
There's a nice bit of subliminal. Everyone is a racist.
okay, cool. Thanks, Craig. Very interesting.
Was that Russian vids?
No, I don't know who that was. It was someone on Odyssey. Who was that, Craig? He's probably with a customer or something, so he may not. He didn't respond a second ago. I should have really. I've just deleted it. Otherwise, I'd have plugged the person's channel.
I have a good little video. It's only 20 minutes long if you want to throw it on.
Yeah, go on. Is it in Master B?
Interesting. I'll throw it in there now. 1 second.
You there?
Sorry, I had to do that there. I was out of I was out of beat, so I couldn't speak. I had to set on mute. Yeah, it's a girl. She's got a. I think it's a PhD in quantum mechanics. She's an English lady, nice girl, but it's like, yeah, she's going through what color the sun really is, and she goes through things to do with color. So it's good for us. Like some of it is good to be aware of it, but some of it then you can see her indoctrination, and you can see just 1 second before I press play, you can see like she goes into certain things that are good, but then there's other things you can see how indoctrinated she is, and she's trying to make stuff up that just is not working. Do you reckon anyway? But it's good. What happens at the start concerning NASA now? It's good when she tries to make excuses for NASA. So I won't preempt it too much.
Is obviously yellow. I mean, look at this beautiful sunset or this picture from NASA.
Okay.
Only it's not yellow, and I can prove it to you right now. The sun is white.
But that's not quite right either, because if the light from the sun was pure white, then it would be an equal amount of all of these different colors. But it's actually mostly green. Why green? Figuring this out actually led to the quantum revolution, and I really want to tell you that story because it's very interesting. But first, let's figure out why isn't the sun yellow? This is NASA's official page for the sun, and you can see that it's...
Yeah, is she going to explain this? How biased is she?
full of images like...
Go on.
Yeah, she kind of mitigates for NASA a little bit. She's a heliocentrist, she's a baller, like, but she tries to mitigate for it. It's just like, nah. It's just like, nah. NASA know what they're doing. Go on.
Like this, the sun looking like a yellow, red, fiery ball. And if you scroll...
I don't know if I believe and trust those images. I mean, in years gone by, bit pre-flat Earth, I'd have accept those like out of hand. You just accept them, right? Whereas, while they are akin to images that I've seen from people and sources that I trust, some of them my own, the NASA images, that is, are given to me by someone I know is lying about space and everything within the sky vacuum they suggest the sky is, which it isn't. Therefore, when I see this, or what was just on screen a moment ago from NASA, I immediately go, I don't know if I want to. I don't believe this. It's like it's come from a known liar, so I almost want to distrust it. I don't want to distrust it, but you go from NASA, you say, a known liar, you say. So I immediately question it. I can't help it just because of the source.
Well, the thing about it is to lie, you need to know the truth. So NASA always give the truth out there. You know, like with their flat, stationary, non-rotating Earth. Do you know what I mean? Aerodynamics. You know what I mean? It's like they always give the truth at that. So this is what she's going to cover now.
Through the rest of these images, you'll see mostly photos of the sun looking red and yellow, but occasionally you'll find one of the sun looking white. But there are also images like this on the website, where the sun is shown in many different colors. So what's going on and what is the actual color of the sun? Well, these images aren't false exactly, they're just false colored. So in this case, NASA took the same photo of the sun.
They're not false.
What?
They're just false. See how I used a different tone with the word false? Now that tone being different means it's not false when I say false, because it's got a different tone. If I descend in tone, false. That's different to false. See how that works? It's amazing.
You see, yeah, she says, they're not false, they're just false colored. Yes, they're not false. All of these images of this big fireball that NASA tried to give us, when you see the actual images of the sun, it doesn't have all this fireball stuff going on. Right? There's none of that. It's white, and it's white, and it looks like it has a few patterns on it, but it's actually mostly looks, if you were to consider it to be a sphere, if we considered it that way, it would be mostly smooth with a few small patterns on it. Not like the moon, which has a lot of patterns.
It does kind of have a face. It's like, if you have to be careful, because if you look at it too long, it'll burn your retinas out, obviously. But if you kind of glance at it and squint, it creates a face that looks a bit like Bono. You have to kind of squint a little bit.
In many different parts of the electromagnetic spectrum. But because our eyes can't see most of these parts of the spectrum.
So let me get it straight, because I can't see them, I'm looking right at them. What are you babbling about? You're telling me I can't see them, and that's the reason? I don't know, I'm going to break this to you, love. I can see, I'm colourblind, and I could. Is it because I'm colourblind? I better get the affirmation from other people on the panel. Can you all see those? There's 6 of them.
We can.
Oh, she's saying we can't. It's because we can't. Because we can't, you say? Oh, yeah, all right, yeah, because I can't. Just smile and just repeat it. Maybe it'll work if you say it a second time.
NASA has to choose which way it's going to display it to us in our usual colour range.
Oh, NASA does. Of course. Me with me selective colour vision. NASA better figure this out for me. Of course, that's perfectly reasonable.
And so they have a choice. They could choose.
Choice, exactly. I need some of these choices eliminating on my behalf for me. If only there was a government agency that could do things. Oh, NASA, you say? Oh, of course, they've done it for me. I should really write them a thank you letter.
Well, before you press play, NASA could display it as it truly is. And
no, you
then
wouldn't
just
see it.
Explain that afterwards. But, you know, explain whatever they're trying to explain afterwards. Well, about this part of the color spectrum and blah, blah, blah. You know, the light spectrum, sorry. But instead, they decide to show you a furry orange super plasma ball.
But only
For
because you
universe.
can see that, Brian. You could see that. That's what you can see. That's what they give it you. And why they give it you. Not this stuff you can't see, like seen here.
Any of these colors.
Yeah, but Nathan,
Yes.
sorry, but Nathan, we can see white. White is possible to see, and that is the color of the sun. So why didn't they show us it as it is? It's nearly like they were trying to push an agenda of a giant red-orange plasma fireball. Just wondering, just.
Well, in reality, it's actually a black body, isn't it?
Well, that is still that's the thing, right? That is still. It's good to use that when needed against the ballers or the stupid claims, but that's still a pre-assumption, and that's coming from.
That's not the bit I mean. I mean, it's basically just racist. This is the white elites hiding the fact that it's really a black body.
yeah, that's taking a reason for it. Yeah.
So the sun is black. Okay.
Yeah, it's a black
That's what I
body.
gathered from that just now.
That's not even a joke. It is actually
I
a black
know.
body. It's not reflecting anything from it. You're not getting anything back, right? It's absorbing anything that's fired, which kind of makes a mockery of when they say they bounce radar off it. What, off a black body? I'm thinking no.
But they just so happen to keep choosing yellow. You'll get a very different picture of the sun, though, if you look up images of the sun from space. In those images, you can quite clearly see that the sun is actually white. If anything, it has a bit of a blue-green tinge around it. If the sun is actually white with a bit of a blue-green tinge to it, then how come NASA keeps showing us images of the sun that are yellow? Is it NASA's fault, or is it really ours? So this website from Stanford University's Solar Center sums up the situation really well.
Is it really ours? No, it's NASA. I like this girl. I always watch her videos, but it's definitely NASA. We're not responsible for what NASA gave us. This is her trying to mitigate for NASA outright lying to the world for God knows how long. You know, no, NASA are definitely responsible. It's their websites, their BS. They're the ones putting it up there. So no, it's definitely NASA. Sorry.
Well, it says, it's hard for many people, even scientists, to admit that the sun that they're so used to.
Just a second. See what's on screen there? That's what the sun actually looks like.
I was about to say,
way more like.
Yeah, I completely agree. That this is shout out to Paula Bible. If you look at some of her solar photography through a filter, this is what it looked like to me. Yeah, this is as close as possible as you get as, accurate amateur representations of the sun with a filter looking at sunspots. This is what it looks like. Yeah, this is pretty accurate. Now, compare that to the fiery pit of hell that they can present it as sometimes, and you're like, shout out to Duncan McLeod. It's our fault that NASA posts pictures. Yeah, that's the Brighton sentiment from a second ago. Exactly, Duncan. Yeah, exactly. It's our fault, Brian. I would say yours specifically.
Well, I have to take the brunt of that blame. If they're posting pictures of a fireball, a red-orange fireball, and that is not what the sun is more like this in white, then there's no mitigating for that. That's just them pushing an agenda.
Sure, but
there is an agenda concerning the sun.
Absolutely. But in terms of what they're describing, your average child's description of the sun, and I could even, with this chart that they've got up here with the wavelengths of light as we understand them, describe how that might be the case with forced perspective changing the wavelength to red when it's close to the horizon at a sunset, for instance. Now, even being colourblind, isn't it like a red sky at night? Kind of, people are familiar if they see a red sun. On a particularly long autumn night, you get a red sun and it lasts for ages as you see it go down, and everyone comments on how beautiful it is, and etc., etc. It's a familiar sight. a red sun, an orange sun, a yellow sun, a white sun. These are all familiar. They're not alien to us. Now, don't get me wrong. Go on.
No. Yes and no. This is the problem. I'm about to burst that bubble. And this is something that I wrote in a comment to her on this video. But problem is this. When the sun is close to the horizon or at the horizon, right, whether it's either rising or setting, that is officially not the sun. That is why it's what's known as the sun mirage. The sun itself is not in that position. It has moved from that position. Right? That is what's known as the sun mirage. So when people are looking at this and they're going, all right, so this must be because of the light spectrum, blah, 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 blah. No, that's a mirage you're looking at. So you can't study the sun and go, right, it's white up here, then it's bloody black color here, and then it's red then when it's at the horizon. It's not at the horizon. So you can't make that claim because it doesn't be at the horizon. That's why one of the proofs of that is that the sun can be just as big when it appears to be at your horizon at sunset, or even bigger sometimes than it is at noon, yet the heat intensity is less. That's because it's not there. So you know the way the extrapolation they make where it's white above them and then it starts going kind of yellow, then orange, then red at the sunset. No, because you don't know at what point the sun is not, whether when you stop looking at the sun, when you're just looking at a sun mirage. So to make the extrapolation of the color change and to deal with the spectrum of light, it kind of goes out the window, if you understand what I mean.
Sun's weird. I love keeping an eye on the sun, generally speaking, and getting my kids to do the same. You know, pay attention to it, pay attention to what's going on in the year, where we are, what season it is, etc., etc. And inside each season, there's semi-seasons, or whatever you want to call them, that you get the ebb and flow, up and down of the weather, as the sun and moon seem to interact with each other. They seem to create, you know, the windy and hotter and cooler cycles that we get throughout each season. Anyway, with that in mind, today, when I typically am out with my kids, I will be doing exactly that, looking at the sun, observing what it's doing. And one of the things that the kids and I are observing currently with the sun here in the UK is that it almost reaches a zenith position directly above our heads, about midday. So if you're in the UK, go out tomorrow at midday and observe what I'm talking about. This is the point in the year for us here in the UK where the sun actually does almost go over us and reach our zenith. It never actually does at any point in the year here in the UK. You know, it's never directly above us. But this is as close as it gets in the year, about now. Yeah? Then the arc gets wider as we go further into summer, and it gets hotter and hotter and hotter. The vector shape that it takes gets narrower, but it goes further towards the west or whatever it is. Anyway, the point being that this is the point in the year where the sun is almost directly overhead for us. It's not the hottest part of the year, but it's where the sun, like I say, is almost at our zenith at midday. Have you ever noticed that, Brian, at this time of year?
Yeah, but it's kind of funny. And I tell you, there's a couple of things that I've noticed about the sun, and I actually wanted to say them. And if that's not the reason why I posted this video, this came to mind now. I've seen the sun when I'm looking at it in the summertime, like you're talking about now, coming into June, July, especially June, where it literally appeared nearly directly above the roof of our house. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, like, there's no way that's a 30+ degree angle, because the sun supposedly never goes further north than 23.4 degrees, the Tropic of Cancer. And I'm looking at it going, how can that? Because it really did look like it was, if I was to measure the angle, it really did look like it was like 15 degrees off of what would be my vertical. So that was like, it was looking more close to my zenith than it should be. And I've noticed that before, where it really looks like it. Now, maybe it's not, maybe it's just my perception. But there's another thing, right, that I've noticed. When I was in, not Australia, but America, in California, it was in the end of May, start of June, a couple of years ago. The second time I was there, Now, here it was hot, it was coming into summer. But for them, it was only coming into what would be our May. So their June is our May, right? And our July is their June, etc., etc., right? So when we have September, that's their August kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? But the thing is that how is that working? Because the sun has already, from June the 21st, has already reached its farthest point north. That means it would have had to cover over them before that. Now, all I can think of is that the sun is...
What you're inadvertently saying is that
would have to have been this.
You're saying California's in the wrong place on the maps. That's what you're trying to say.
Well, I told you, it's an interesting thing because I tell you, what it would mean is that the sun would have to, let's say, we go by, let's just say the pre-assumption that the sun appears to rise or lower in the sky throughout the year, right? And this is something that I don't know if that's true, right? If it actually rises and lowers in the sky, but I know that there's a claim of it doing that. Now, the thing is that whether it does or doesn't, let's say it stays at an equal whatever elevation or altitude, I don't even know if you can give it one. But the point is that it would have already had to pass where California was to get to the point of being our summer, because we're more north than California. But then they don't get their summer until it's going back towards the equator. It's bizarre. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
No, I totally understand what you're trying to get across, but I see that as map distortions, where we think California should be with respect to the seasons and the sun isn't necessarily where it actually is. Same with us, where we think we are relatively centrally with respect to the sun isn't necessarily where we are. So in the mapping investigation stage of my journey into flat Earth, what I consistently found was we, Great Britain, wanted to appear more important on the maps. Therefore, positionally,
more central.
Well, not just more centred. There's, you could ascribe that to them changing prime meridians to Greenwich, right, from Jerusalem. I mean, you can't get much more. Would you call that vanity? But when they're doing the mapping, it's like, well, they're in charge. So they'll do whatever they like. And distorting other places, making them look smaller or bigger, or changing their relative position, sort of goes without saying. That is what has happened with the cartography process, and it is always just down to men and their vanity. There's never any other reason.
No.
The gerrymandering of the maps is just that. It's just people being vain, wanting to appear more powerful when they own a country. It's like, you don't own a country. You're a man. But,
No, they own a country. Hey, Nate, let me ask you a question. When you guys observe the sun, you're missing one thing and you're not accounting for it. The firmament, man. It's the firmament.
The sun stuck to it.
Yeah, man. I've seen a video today, Brian. No. This guy had solid proof. The sun was attached to the firmament. So how do we know what we're looking at, or even if we're looking at the sun?
Huh?
Could be a reflection.
Reflection of what?
The firmament, man. The firmament.
The sun could be a reflection of the firmament?
Well, its position. We could be seeing it somewhere because it's actually, we're seeing it as off a reflection of the firmament. I don't know. Seen a video today. You should check it out.
The sun is the reflection of the sun? The sun we see is the reflection of the sun, or is this a reflection of the firmament? Because that's two different
the
things.
sun reflects off the firmament, so you may be seeing it and you think you're seeing the sun, but you're actually seeing a reflection of the sun.
Alrighty then.
We watched a video earlier where someone was claiming that looking at the stars and having highly detailed pictures of them meant that you could prove that they were attached to the firmament. You know, that was the standard. And he's saying there's no water here. And I'm like, okay, well, by the standards that you're laying down, I can say there's no firmament here. Look how detailed the pictures of these stars are. Therefore, no firmament. As you're suggesting, it proves there is one. I can just suggest the complete antithesis. And that's kind of what Neil's doing, but he's affirming that there is a firmament based on the pictures we saw in that video. We haven't affirmed a firmament.
No, but he has.
He hasn't.
Don't you remember he said, I don't know what I'm doing, but that's the firmament there.
He said these pictures are essentially open to interpretation. He didn't know what they meant, but also that meant that they did prove a firmament.
Yeah, kind of funny.
Okay, we've had quite a productive live show today. Marvellous stuff. If you're watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Programming Streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So, another massive thank you to all of you who liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member as a result of Jardo, no doubt, gifting you a membership. So thank you very much again to Jardo. And again, a massive thank you to my Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.